Thank you. My name is Cheliyan Pancras. I look after partnerships at Adobe Magento. I was with Magento before the acquisition, so I wanted to show you guys where Adobe and Magento is, talk about the roadmap, and go into some of the details today. One of the things was really good from PayPal, what he mentioned about focusing on customer experience, and that's absolutely what we're all about. The theme around this presentation was about customer experience, how to drive brand loyalty through some of the features, and also looking at one of the studies we did, specifically in APAC. So our marketing team last year did a survey, and I want to use some of that data to show you guys what we have found out about India specifically, and hopefully tie that back into the Magento roadmap. One of the things I wanted to, leaning on PayPal's last presentation, that number there is $113 million USD will be spent this year in India alone on enterprise software, which includes delivering customer experiences. It includes commerce, it includes your CMS, so it's a very, very large market, which is very good for all of us here in this region. This is expected to grow year over year by 21%, and by 2023, we're expecting that to grow by $193 million USD. So it's good news for all of us in this room. So the first thing I want to talk, just kind of quickly talk about Adobe and Magento. Magento always was a company, whatever you can think of, you can actually build. My microphone goes twice. So what we wanted to do is, so Magento was always, whatever you can think of, you can build. And Adobe also had the same mantra where they wanted to really deliver personalized and unique experiences to everyone. So it was kind of really, was a good match for both of us to get together, because making every experience personal and making every moment shoppable, which is kind of where we're sitting. And I'll dig into deeper for people that don't know how Adobe is structured internally. There's kind of three main segments with Adobe. One is the Adobe Creative Cloud. I think everyone is familiar with that. That is your household names like Photoshop, Lightroom. We pretty much are the leader in that segment as well. Then we have the Adobe Document Cloud. This is digitizing the document workflow. This includes, obviously PDF being an Adobe technology and Adobe Sign. If you think about it, all the large businesses and governments are digitizing all their documents now, so no more pen and paper for signatures, and security is number one. Adobe Experience Cloud, that's where Magento fits into the picture, and I'll talk about more about how that works, but there's an underlying kind of framework we call Adobe Sensei. That's our artificial intelligence framework, and that's touching all parts of these different business units, and we'll dive into that as well. So, if you look at Adobe Experience Cloud, I'm sure some of you guys know all about the different Adobe products. If you look at the Adobe kind of journey, they owned kind of the front end of the funnel with their advertising cloud, right? We had our DMP, the Adobe Audience Manager, so we were able to attract all these prospects to your website. Then you have the powerful Adobe Analytics tools as well to do all the crunching of the data. But then we have AEM, which is one of our flagship tools, right? Being able to deliver unique experiences at a very, very high volume. You tie that in with Marketo, which was also an acquisition that right after Magento, which is your marketing automation platform, which gives you the ability to nurture your prospects. But the one thing that Adobe was missing was the ability to transact. And that's where Magento Commerce fits in. So now Adobe Experience Cloud kind of owns that front end of the funnel all the way to conversion, from nurturing and then all the way to conversion. And that's and then obviously we'll go into more of the Adobe Sensei. So that's where kind of Magento fit in the puzzle and was kind of the last piece they needed. So going into this survey we did, thanks to our marketing team, they're sitting here. We did a survey last year in June 2019, so this is very recent. We had 7,500 respondents. There's 1,400 unique ones for India alone. So what the stats I'll talk about in these slides are specifically to India. Hopefully that's relevant to you all. So the central questions that we put in this survey was around, what makes customers want your offerings? What makes them come back? What are the usual pain points they experience with you? And what are they willing to exchange with you? So, because we have a good mix of crowd here of merchants and developers, I thought this would be a timely data points to present. So the first question is, what percentage of consumers will return for free delivery? In India, 67% say consumers will return for free delivery. So free delivery drives loyalty in this country. That's one of the conclusions that I kind of took out of the stats we got from here. What number of percentage of Indian consumers would return shoppers if you offer a free return policy? Again, more than half would become loyal to your brand if you have a kind of a robust return policy option. To the bottom there, what number of respondents literally go to the website, find the cheapest price, and buy the product wherever it's offered the cheapest? Again, more than half. What this tells me is that everyone needs to move past transactional relationships and make sure you build trust with the brand. And I think PayPal hit that point really well in the earlier session as well. So that's what we're trying to do as well. Make sure you build that trust, build that relationship using the technologies that's available to you. So what percent of Indian consumers are encouraged to buy if there's a mobile-friendly, easy-to-use website? I think that's pretty straightforward. It's more than 50%, right? So friction kills conversation. So mobile-first strategy is quite important. So I'm going to talk about one of our customers here in India, Seniority. This brand was founded back in 2016 by Ayush and Tapan. So Seniority was one of the first kind of e-commerce websites here in India that was targeting for senior citizens. I know it sounds crazy, but they've actually found a gap in the market where senior citizens are actually going to their mobile devices and purchasing items. So they've seen a great adoption. This was actually delivered by one of our partners, Krish, who is in the room as well. So they were able to figure out how to get senior citizens to make the purchases on low-end phones as well. And they did simple things to change the experience, increasing the font size, increasing the gap between the text, shortening the descriptions. So they really built an optimized experience for senior citizens. They were on Magento 1 open source, moved to M2 Enterprise last year, and they have seen over 150% revenue growth after the upgrade as well. 19% average order value increase, 10 seconds less average on checkout time. I think everyone knows here that M1 checkout was a bit. But 180% increase in traffic after launching the responsive storefront. I think that was the key for these guys on having such a great success. So great case study here in India. It's available on our website for if you want to dig into the details. Deep end. There's a lot of back-end integrations that was in play here. So it was a really good story. So now going into Magento Roadmap priorities. At a high level, we're here to deliver superior experiences. This is across B2C and B2B, and that's going to be our remaining focus as well. The second part of our focus is actually truly delivering omnichannel experience. There's some features I'll talk about today. I'll go into Magento Order Management. It's really a tool that can fulfill the true omnichannel experience. And then commerce intelligence. We're putting some investments behind our reporting engines. Adobe Analytics will slowly be integrated as well. And obviously, keeping our community and open cloud platform a vibrant ecosystem. That's definitely on our priority list. So, going into some of the features. Multisource Inventory. This is one of the features we came out. I think there's a video here. I don't know if it's going to play. But basically, this gives you basic functionality to do omnichannel features. Essentially having the ability to do real-time sourcing controls and being able to, with basic rules, allocate your fulfillment and orders. It has got API extensions, so you can integrate it with your inventory management tool, so you have some basic functionality there. We've seen some great success and adoption with this one. Page Builder, I think most of you know this functionality. Tremendous success again. If people don't know this feature, it's basically a WYSIWYG editor, which allows you to use drag and drop functionalities to build commerce pages. Why this is super critical to our customers is, if you think about it, an e-com manager, they can launch a campaign on their own. If they have a .digital marketing automation tool, they can build the content in the email there, launch the content, and have the e-commerce pages ready without getting help from someone who's very technical. So it's very powerful to launch campaigns and innovate and create more content and drive that experiences at a faster pace. Next is another cool feature that came from our community, and that's integration with Adobe Stock. Now this is really interesting, where Adobe Stock has got this huge, massive library of high quality content, from Photoshop images to vector graphics to icons, whatever you need. And that's going to be integrated right into our core code, where you can open up in the back end, go to Adobe Stock, and license an image to use that on your website. Why is that important? If you're an organization that is, doesn't have a lot of investment on the creative side, you're in the SMB space, I think this is a really good tool where you can get really good high-quality images right onto your storefront. So very excited for this one to come out as well. So the next part of the survey we did was talk about sustainability in India. So the first question there is, what percentage of respondents do you think online shopping is better for the environment than in-store shopping? It's 34%, so it was a pretty low number there. And then what percentage of respondents in India are likely to buy from a retailer that doesn't use any single-use plastics? Again, that's 35%. What we've seen is across APAC, especially in ANZ, there's a very large focus on sustainability. There's a few of the brands that we work with, that's part of their agenda. So they make sure from packaging to where they're sourcing the items is all sustainable. India, is a little bit behind on that, but the trend is going up. So this is something to keep an eye out for the next 12 months and see how that develops. One of the customers we have in Australia, Adore Beauty, they've implemented a volumetric system where they actually can figure out the best packaging to use before shipping the item. This reduces the carbon footprint and also ended up reducing their shipping costs as well. So a really good story there. This leads me into Magento Order Management. Okay, so this is another product, obviously, that marries up with Magento. And it's essentially a central hub that intelligently distributes and fulfills your orders in a very intelligent way. It has complex rules and algorithms that you can implement and make sure you have complete visibility into how your stock is managed. Okay? Customers expect high-quality commerce experiences. People expect buy online, pick up in store. People expect endless aisle now. So you need to stay up front, and if you have multiple brands, multiple channels, multiple distribution centers, the Omnichannel Magento Order Manager is something that can help you with that problem. These features are putting pressure on retailers, right? They're expecting this from you guys, so this is one of the things where you need to think about implementing. And customers want seamless customer service. I think one of the biggest things is, when you get an order, where is it picked, where was it shipped from? Not having visibility into that kind of entire workflow gives you customer dissatisfaction. So knowing what's happening increases your customer service, and integrating that with your call centers is really a great solution. So what creates this omnichannel complexity? It's the increased number of sales channels, right? We got multiple brands, multiple websites, multiple inventory locations, multiple physical stores. You got your drop shippers, you got your marketplaces, you got all these different sales channels, and then also your fulfillment channels. You multiply that increases your order volume and increase in order volume and velocity. So you definitely, when you're a brand that has all these complications, you need a tool that's able to manage this and allocate your orders properly. For example, if you order a product, so the first thing we do, we can soft allocate the product. And then we can do, with PayPal and whatnot, we can do a fraud check, make sure they're using the gift card coupons. Once all that process is done, we can hard allocate the products. When you hard allocate it, you can actually use logic where it says, all right, let's hard allocate it at the closest store. or it's hard allocated from the central distribution center. So you can tweak those rules depending on how you want to optimize your experience. After that, you have integration with your logistics provider. I have a lot of customers in Indonesia and Thailand where logistics is a complex beast because different kind of riders on motorcycles versus a larger package in a truck is totally separate costs. So having a solution that can figure out which logistics provider to use when you're shipping is key, and also reducing your cost in the end. So the key takeaway here is Magento Order Management kind of unites all the sales and fulfillment channels and intelligently kind of distributes the orders and gives you insight as well of where the orders are. So this is one of the other customers I used to manage last year out of Melbourne, a fantastic brand, ladies fashion apparel. They were on Magento 1, moved to Magento 2, and they have order management as well. And these guys were always focused on customer experience. Once they moved to Magento 2, and with the order management in place, they had over 20% decrease in abandoned cart, warehouse dispatch time decreased by 50%, and they deployed across 200 stores. So we did a launch first in New Zealand with a few stores to test it out. Then we moved up to, we did the rest of Australia, it was like 90 stores. And what we were able to do with Magento is really each of the stores now, if you go to a Forever New store in Australia, you can see Magento order management running because if someone orders some clothing, the pick order will come because they know where the quantities are at, clothes are picked, and then it's shipped from the store location. Their ultimate goal is to get shipping down, delivery down to 2 hours. So having, again, order management powering that gives them that ability to do that because they'll know where all their inventory sits. So really good case study. Definitely check out their website. And jumping back into the survey, so the other thing is about artificial AI. So we asked what percentage of Indian consumers are comfortable with employing new technologies such as AI. So which are shoppers okay with brands employing AI technology to produce content and whatnot? More than 67% in India are okay with that. So what percentage of Indian customers are comfortable with retailers using personal data to drive, personalization on the website? Again, we had 39% there using personal data is okay to show relevant content. And the last one was from retailers using AI they're okay with brands using AI capabilities as long as they offer low pricing and optimized experience. So more than 56%. My point is, compared to our European counterparts, APAC is quite comfortable with leveraging AI technologies and doing personalization. So in India, with these numbers, it's quite relevant that they're okay. So don't be afraid to leverage automation and or AI to try to unlock some of those things with your shoppers. So now I'll quickly touch upon Adobe Sensei. So Adobe Sensei is a technology that powers intelligent features across all the Adobe products to improve the design and delivery of digital experiences using artificial intelligence and machine learning as a common framework. I'll give you a simple example. In Photoshop, because everyone can relate to Photoshop, you remember you had to cut out, let's say, a person out of the background. That process used to take a designer quite a bit of time. With Adobe Sensei, you can literally now just make select the person, and Adobe Sensei will calculate what parts to cut out. And that reduced the time from hours to a matter of minutes. So obviously there's some touch-ups you need to do, but it drastically removes time. That same technology is going to start powering Magento as well. People are expecting experiences, and we have to fulfill their expectations. And with the number of content that's growing at a rapid pace, and with the data volumes, you need a framework, an artificial intelligence, to kind of help you disseminate that and actually push that content out in an intelligent manner. So as the first thing that's coming out with Magento is product recommendations that's going to be powered by Adobe Sensei. What this is going to use is going to gather shoppers' behavior, deliver contextual and personally relevant product recommendations at key places throughout the Magento store. So there's a product detail page, home page, shopping cart page, and checkout pages. What's key to note here is it's going to be delivered as a SaaS solution. It's going to be available in the back end, but through the Magento panel as well. So it's really cool, very excited about this one coming out as well. The next feature that's coming out, again, powered by Adobe, is going to be a new premium site search for Magento. And it's going to become like your sales assistant. This is going to be super lightning fast. It's going to give you results preview, boost your search results, and what's more important, it's actually going to learn your consumers' behaviors beforehand. As soon as they log in, we know who that person is, and we're going to know a lot of things about them, and we're going to disseminate that information, and then when they start searching, we're going to show the relevant content. Again, there's a lot of tweaking involved with AI. You can't completely trust it, but absolutely a great feature that's coming out. So keep your eyes open on this one. Talking about traditional and digital payments, going back into the survey. So it's interesting in India. So what percentage of respondents would not purchase from a retailer that doesn't offer cash on delivery as a payment option? What percentage would not? So 48%. So cash on delivery is still a big play here in India. I just got back from the Philippines. It's the percentage is even higher than that. So having a COD kind of payment option is absolutely important. And thankful for Magento and its ability to integrate with all the different payment systems, we can deliver that. So that's 22% higher than the regional average across APAC. So that's very prevalent for this region. The top payment methods, this is from our survey alone. I know I've seen some other surveys where it's a bit different, but it's cash on delivery, debit and credit, and e-wallet. And then we're seeing obviously a rise in e-wallets as well in India. Payment trends are drastically changing across different regions. It's different in the Philippines, super different in Singapore, different in Thailand. So having that payment flexibility is an absolute must. So make sure you provide those options. Which ties me into the integration pieces as well. We are putting a lot of effort behind truly having a headless commerce application using GraphQL endpoints. PWA is already using that. This comes in really handy with our Adobe Experience Manager and Magento integration, which is going to be completely headless, right? But that doesn't mean you need to use AEM. You can use any third-party CMS to integrate. But the idea is to have every endpoint unlocked with GraphQL as soon as possible. That's the roadmap. First thing we're going to do is make sure all the B2C endpoints are covered. Then we're going to move to B2B. We're going to do the performance optimization and then move to the kind of having a GraphQL instance only. So we're putting a lot of bet into this and having a true headless commerce. One more thing I really liked is the Magento security updates. As a Magento CSM a couple of years ago, and managing the customers is one of the big pain points. I just wanted to mention this feature now that you can upgrade to your security patch only. I think that is huge, especially when you have a big customer with a lot of customizations. This allows you to make sure you get all the security fixes in place so your vulnerabilities are plugged, and then take your time whenever you're ready to move to the full version upgrade, which obviously requires much more testing and integration. That's about it. I just quickly rushed through that. So just key takeaways. Merchants need to provide options. I think everyone knows this. Payment options, you have to have different kinds available, especially in this region. Start thinking about sustainability. I think brands should put it part of their agenda, because with all the things happening around the world, I think sustainability is in front of everyone's mind, and the stats are trending upwards in this country alone. And leverage automation. I think the merchants, the shoppers here in India are okay with us employing AI technologies. They're okay with us using some of their personal data at least. So leverage it, see what you can do, and it's all about fine tuning and see what works for everyone. That's about it. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Magento, for having me.